Right, this is Unit 8, Formative 1, Video 2, solved by the square root method. So this is when there's not three terms, so we're not going to factor. All right, so the first one, if you notice that there is only one term with an n in it, and that's going to be your key. Okay, so there's no other n's, no other variables, so your key is going to be that you will isolate the n. Okay, so you're going to divide by -9. Okay, so that cancels. And then -450 divided by -9 gives us 50. Okay. Now this, we haven't seen this. Okay, this is a squared. Okay, the opposite of squaring is square root. So in order to get rid of that, we're going to take the square root of both sides. Okay, those cancel and we're left with an n. Okay. Now we're going to take the square root of 50. Okay, so the square root goes back to our perfect squares. Okay. However, square root's not a perfect square. 49 is. Remember, 49 is 7 squared. Okay, and then we have 64. So 50 is somewhere in the middle. Okay, so it's not a perfect square. So we're going to go ahead and put it in the calculator. The square root of 50 is about 7.1. Okay. Now, whenever we take the square root, we always put plus or minus in front of our answer, because if I square positive 7.1, I'm going to get 50, and if I do negative 7.1, I will also get a positive 50. Okay, so that tells you that you can take 7.1, square it, and get that, and negative 7.1, square it, and still get 50. Okay, so again, whenever you take the square root, we're always going to put what's called a plus or minus. All right, next one. Again, the key is, if you notice, only one term has a variable. That is something you're going to have to recognize, okay? So when one thing has a variable, we're going to isolate it. So in this case, I have to move the 486 over. Okay, so then we end up with 6x squared equals a positive 486. Divide by 6, we get x squared equals 81. Okay, now again, we have that x squared, so we're going to take the square root. Okay, so x equals, now I took the square root, so I know I have a plus or minus, and the square root of 81 is 9. Okay, it's a whole number. Again, you do plus or minus, because if you have 9 times 9, you get 81, and if you have -9 times -9, you get 81. Okay, so there's two ways to get 81, a plus or a minus. And that's it for the square root method.